Hello and welcome to the Fasting Focused Lifestyle. This week's episode is extremely exciting. I've been watching this faster for quite some time and I get goosebumps because I love seeing the massive transformation that's taking place. And I'm excited to spotlight this faster on his journey and let him take over and really share his experience with fasting. So this week we're going to be talking with Robert, or I should say Bobby Jones, right? Bobby Jones Jr.
Yeah, that's my nickname, but
Yeah,
he's good. Yeah.
awesome. So we're going to talk to Bobby Jones Jr. and get his story on his massive results with fasting. Stay tuned. Welcome to the Fasting Focused Lifestyle Podcast, where each week I will be discussing all things fasting and how it can become the most valuable tool in your personal toolkit so that you can live a long, healthy, and meaningful life. I'm your host, Vicki Sharon, and thank you for joining me. All right, so we've got Bobby Jones Jr. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for connecting with me, taking part amidst the time zone difference. It's super exciting. Like I said, I've seen your posts. I get goosebumps just thinking about the amazing transformation that you've had. But I don't want to take the shine away from you. I want you to shine all on your own. Go ahead and give everybody an introduction if they don't know who you are yet. So go ahead, give us just a little brief intro before we get into the good stuff.
Okay, yeah. So my name is Robert. I was born and raised on the East Coast. I'm currently reside in the Bay Area, Oakland, California. 52 years old. Currently, my weight lost. I lost a total of 275 pounds as of right now. I
Woo!
was 500. Now I'm at 225.
Wow.
And my goal is really to inspire. I think right now God has gave me a purpose now to inspire and to share my story to others. I want to motivate other people in my situation because I remember when I was 500 pounds, I saw other people too. I'm like, well, I want to be like them. So I found a new purpose. I want to lose about another 20 more, and I'm looking at. I don't want to do skin surgery, but I might have to.
Mm-hmm.
That's the next goal right now, the skin surgery. So
Gotcha.
that's going on right now, and I plan on I'm writing a book on my journey. So I'm taking some writing courses right now
Mhm.
so I can build up some skills, with the grammar and everything. So
That's
that's going
fantastic.
on right now. Yes, yes.
Yeah. I wanted to
Mhm.
get a little bit more of your history and what were the factors that led to your previous obesity, your struggles, your mental struggles, emotional, physical. So if you want to talk about that for a bit.
Oh yeah. So I grew up small, skinny, all through high school. I didn't really, but I always ate. I always binged eat. I remember at 7 years old, 8 years old, sneaking to the store and buying candy and pies and hiding it from my mom. Like I was a sneaky eater. Yeah, I was a sneaky eater. I used to always sneak and eat. And 7, 8, 9 years old, but I always worked out, always ran like after school, riding bikes, playing with my friends. I stayed active, played sports in high school. So when I graduated, I got this job at the library. So I settled a lot. And I used to, since I always continued eating, that never stopped. I always ate, but I stopped working out. I wasn't going to the gym where I wasn't doing that. 20 started creeping on, 22, 23, maybe by 25, I was at 300 pounds.
Mm.
But I didn't see myself as big. I still was that happy, joyful guy. Got around 30. It's okay, like, yeah, working in the library. So um, I end up getting fired, but they letting me go because I used to fall asleep a lot. Like I used to be at the front and I just
Hmm.
like dozing off. I used to do a lot of sleeping, so they let me go. And
Hmm.
at that time I found out I had sleep apnea.
Mm.
And so then I just I had a depression phase in my 30s. Then I got up to 500. It was just that I used to stay in the house a lot. I didn't want to go nowhere. On public transportation, I never was out in public, especially when kids get out of school. Kids can be, they'll point at you, look at you.
Yep.
I try to avoid people, anxiety. I stayed in the house, and I like, well, this is just going to be my life. I couldn't even go down the street without getting tired. But I always continued to eat, order pizza. I would sneak it. I would order pizza. So my mom, she took she was my in-home care worker, so she took off her job to take care of me.
Wow.
But even though she ate right, she's a vegan, I still was sneaky food. She would buy me the food, I would eat that, but I would order pizza, get it delivered. Every day I was ordering something, going to the Chinese restaurant. It was just really, yeah, it was really very depressing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And what was the factors that led you to finding fasting?
So so 2000 and so November 2021. So my mom always fasted. She's a vegan.
Yep.
So what happened? So at 500, I started losing weight around 2015. I started losing
Mm-hmm.
weight.
Mm-hmm.
It was really slow.
Mm-hmm.
A little slow. I was still eating bad, but I was working out a little more.
So it was like calories in, calories out kind of thing.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
more. So 2016, I decided, like, I always wanted to go back to school.
Mm-hmm.
So 2016, I decided to go back to school. I only did online classes
Mm-hmm.
because I figured I couldn't sit in a regular seat.
Mm-hmm.
So for 2 years, I took online, but then that third year, I had to take statistics.
Mm-hmm.
I had to go into class. I
Mm.
was worried, am I going to fit in the seat? I fit in the desk. Oh, got a desk real small. I got in the seat barely. Did that. So I ended up getting in 2019. I ended up getting my AA degree.
Mm-hmm.
Ended up transferring to Cal State East Bay. So 2022, I graduated
Yeah.
with a BA degree. But
Yeah.
before that, in 2021 in November, I found out I was a diabetic.
Mm.
So I got my right toe amputated.
Wow.
November the 10th, 2021.
Yep.
That when I found out I was a diabetic, let's say it saved my life
Mm-hmm.
because if I would have never found out, so what happened was on my right toe, it got infected. So when I went into the hospital, they said, you know what, we can't save the toe. I
Mm.
said to myself, I was numb to the situation. I was like, it was just so much, it was a lot to process.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
took the toe. I stayed in the hospital 2 weeks, in a nursing home for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
That changed everything because I was on a strict diet.
Mm-hmm.
If I didn't find that out, so when they did blood results, my kidneys were bad,
Yep.
close to cirrhosis, my
Yep.
liver was bad, my lungs were bad,
Yep.
all because of diabetes.
Mm.
When I found all that out, so right now, and if I would have never known about this toe, I don't know where I'd be right now. I would still
Right.
be obese.
Right.
People don't realize with diabetes, it can affect your organs,
Yep.
your heart, and everything.
Yep.
So when I got out in February, I got out end of December, the day after my birthday. I was doing research on fasting, and
Mm.
that's when I found a group. I said, you know what? I want to start doing intermittent fast. I started with the 12-12. I started with 12 hours eating and then just 12 hours not eating.
Yep.
I built that up to now I do 20 or 4, or
Mm-hmm.
I do a 6 or 18-6.
Yep.
And I usually do about 1 to 2 24-hour fasts per week.
That's awesome.
I haven't done more than 24. It's just, that's my goal, at least 2 days, but I'm very successful with the 24. And
Gotcha.
then after that, the weight just started like
Yeah.
flying off when
Yeah.
I changed that diet. Yeah. Explain to people about fasting. And I know your situation. Why are you fasting? Um, you sure you're a diabetic? Why are you fasting? You know your blood sugar get too low. And those are the people like, well, this is my journey. This is me versus me. This is not your journey. This is my destiny. This is what I want to do.
Yep.
If I've lost all this weight, I must be doing something right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
why are you complaining? Why can't you be happy for me? So yeah.
That's right. That's right. It always, I know, similarly to how you were saying, it's always met with that stigma that we have to be eating all day and that weight loss, as it's generally thought of in conventional diet culture. And I speak about this a lot very passionately because I'm opposed to conventional diet culture at all because it's just so stigmatized and making us think that we have to eat all day. And if we have,
Yes.
as you know, if we have stored body fat on us, that's just energy, food energy that your body has set aside intelligently
100%.
for later use. Yeah.
Yep. And that's what exactly people don't
Yep.
understand that. Yes, that is
Yep.
so true. Yes.
Yep.
So I
So,
reversed the diabetes. Oh, just back to the diabetes. I
yep.
reversed it in 3 months.
Oh my
So when I
gosh.
found out in November, by February, because they were trying to give me a metformin.
Ooh.
People don't realize metformin only transfer the blood to your organs.
Yep.
Doctors know that, but I had to do a lot of research. I did a lot of
Yeah.
research. I said, you know what? I told the doctor, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I want to find herbs. I want to find holistic ways. I want to do my research. Fasting
Hmm.
was the number one thing.
Yep.
Lord, I've been diabetes free for like a year now. My blood sugar,
Mm.
my AC1 is 4.6 right now.
What?
It was a 10. When I went in the hospital, it was a
Yeah.
10.
Oh my
And it dropped
gosh. I just got goose.
fast.
That's phenomenal. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh. And a lot of people like, I'm sure because we see a lot of the stats, we see a lot of the data of just like scare tactics, like, oh, diabetes is on the rise, obesity. And what a lot of
Mhm.
people don't want to kind of put together, or they're not willing to, as you've done with like digging and finding out and really
Mhm.
understanding what's going on with our body, that diabetes and obesity, that metabolic syndrome X is, they're all tied together. And it's what, when you hear somebody say, oh, it runs in the family, I immediately think, no, what runs in the family is everybody's legs are all under the same table is what runs in
Exactly.
the family. And it's a dietary lifestyle thing. But again, that's not something that a lot of doctors or medical practitioners openly advocate for. It is leaning more towards being open and understanding towards intermittent fasting as more studies come out.
Yes,
But
yes.
because of their training, their understanding, and like ties to, we're not going to say it because we don't want to get flagged, but like, the, more medical interventions and
Right.
turning the tides to allowing our bodies to do that rejuvenation, restoration within ourselves is empowering,
Mhm.
but there's
Yes,
no
it
money
is.
to be made in that.
There's no
Like
money.
there's,
Exactly.
yeah, it's
And when
crazy.
you mentioned about running a family, I used to see because I found out. So my dad told me, don't really have a relationship with my dad, but I remember when I was in the hospital 12 years ago for sleep apnea problems, he had told me that diabetes is on the side of the family because he
Mm-hmm.
told me his sister, which is my aunt, had lost some limbs. So
Mm,
I didn't take it seriously. I'm thinking, I always thought I had time. I'm
mm,
young. I'm thinking, oh, I got time to change. Oh, I got time to change. Crept up on me. I used to always have that mindset. It runs in my side. It runs in my dad's side. But like you said, it's not true. The
mhm.
choices you make
Yep.
is what you're gonna look like. You
Yep.
you, you make this decision. The choices is what you look like. Well,
Exactly.
my choice, I look like nine toes. That's the name of my book. Is gonna be Nine Toes Down. But
Wow.
that's my badge of honor. That's
Yeah.
my nine toes. But losing that toe saved my life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It helped you.
it doesn't
That was
run
a
on my family. It's the choices you make. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So throughout your fasting journey, I want you to take an opportunity to talk about your struggles, maybe plateaus that you hit, setbacks that you experienced, challenges, and how you overcame them.
Yeah. So it's I still eat a little junk from time to time. I'm still like my sugar. Like when I used to binge eat, it was always sugar. It's always 2 liters. So I'm gonna tell you a typical day when I used to binge eat. I would order pizza. I would get one large pizza, all the toppings, eat the whole pizza, drink a 2 liter soda,
Mm-hmm.
and the chicken wings and the cinnamon sticks.
Mm,
Typical diet every day, every day. So now when I fast, I don't have I don't fast every week. I try to, but mostly I at least I try to do the 16-8 minimum. I don't need no breakfast. I just can't do that. I never ate breakfast to begin with, but I
yeah.
try to eat around 2 o'clock and usually in 7, between 2 and 8, I try to eat.
Yep.
Um, some days I'll fast for 24 hours, but then some days I feel like I want to binge eat again.
Mm,
And I'm still working with that. Like I haven't eaten all day and I'm really famished. I really want to eat. I might overeat sometime in that evening
mm-hmm.
because I'm trying to make up for earlier in the day.
Mm-hmm.
That's I'm trying to work with. So if I eat something, I might eat too many calories. And then I might feel it that night. I'm going to the bathroom, like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
that mindset of binge eating, it tends to creep back, even though I'm trying to
Yep.
mentally because it's still there.
Yep.
So those situations like that, um, sometimes it's okay. Sometimes I do the 24 hours. So if I stop eating 6 o'clock that day, I'll won't eat till 6 o'clock the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll just like gorge. I'll just gorge on stuff. And I'm trying to work with
Yeah.
right now. That aspect.
Do you feel like it's tied to emotional behavioral things of like sensitivity to triggers and smells and feelings that cause
Yeah,
those
just
binges?
feelings because I still have this body dysmorphia. I still have this mind that I'm big, and it's the mental. Like I'm still wear big clothes sometimes, and I'm like, well, I'm not big. Or if I walk upstairs, I'm still holding on to the railing. Or
Yeah.
if I'm pushing a cart at the grocery store, I'm leaning.
Yeah. Yeah.
And these old triggers are coming back. Like, okay, I'm not big. I'm not, and I have this, and I'm getting it's mental. I tell
Yep.
people
Yep.
it's hard to change overnight. It takes time. You got to
Yeah.
practice. You have to experience. Yeah.
Yeah. I know one of the things that I advocate for a lot with the people that I consult with on a regular basis is doing a lot of that really uncomfortable mirror work where you're looking at yourself and getting, weird, uncomfortable, like personal with yourself and really like looking at yourself in the mirror and meditating a lot. I know you said your mom was vegan. I've been fluctuating back and forth, predominantly vegetarian, vegan, but now I've been vegan for the past, let's say, like I think like 4 or 5 months or so now. And like how you were saying, I notice being in tune with the way that my body feels allows for the repairing of those thoughts and feelings of the body
Mhm.
dysmorphia of feeling like I'm big, I'm big.
Yeah.
But pairing that with that mirror work of I feel good. I feel good in my body. I can do
Mhm.
this, and really taking inventory when those moments arise where you're reminded, hey, you are at a smaller size. I
Right.
get
Right.
goosebumps about it. But when you know, hey, I feel good because I'm at a smaller size, I can do this because I'm at a smaller
Right.
size. And the more
Exactly.
you attach like the emotions and really like restoring that inner dialogue will
Mhm.
compound on each other like little mental Legos over time.
Right. Right.
And it just becomes so much easier. And I love seeing the transformation in myself because when I see these changes happen and I share, and other people share the same, those are victories, absolutely
Mhm.
victories, because I
Yes.
know those lifelong historical beliefs that we hold on to, just like you were saying, where I'm not going to fit in this seat. Oh, goosebumps again. I'm not going to fit into
Mhm.
this seat. Those
Yes.
looking down, oh my gosh, my legs are huge. I'm not going to be able to
Yes.
walk. I'm out of breath.
Right.
I'm
Right.
winded.
I'm
It's,
right, and I do that, and it's so funny you say that. Sometimes I walk, and I feel like I'm winded, and it's like it's up here, like,
yep,
well, why
it's
am I
all,
tired? I
yeah.
can walk 3 miles and I'm tired, but I'm like, why am I out of breath?
It's a psychological thing. It's
And you were
crazy.
saying about reminders right up here. I
Oh,
had reminders like no more diabetes, or I take action towards my goals every day. And I have
yeah.
little reminders I put on the mirror. So when I go to the bathroom, brush my teeth,
Yeah.
I'm looking at this stuff like,
Oh, that's giving me goosebumps. That's awesome. That is so wonderful. Oh my goodness. Um, that mirror talk, that mirror stickers and your motivation stuff, that's phenomenal that you had the mental just acknowledgement that that's the work, the mental, psychological, emotional,
yes.
behavioral work that needs to be done.
Mhm.
Because again, and I keep tying it to this because conventional diet culture doesn't mention that. If they do, it's when you go see a specialist or you have to go see a
Right.
psychiatrist. That needs to be the forefront because a lot of the
Mhm.
issues that are there, the overeating, the diabetes, the obesity, and all these other health complications don't address the mental, behavioral, hormonal, psychological effect that led
Yes.
us to this physiological state to begin with.
Right.
So that's
Right.
beautiful. That's
And
beautiful
that's
that,
why mental health is so important.
yes.
It's a problem people don't realize. It's
Yep.
mental health. You have to
Yes.
get the well-being right. Once you get the mental, the physical comes, everything comes together.
Absolutely.
Everything's holistic, mental, spiritual. You can't
Yep.
have one without the other.
That's right. That's right. And I loved sharing this with folks when I convey to them the way that I feel like our bodies need to be treated as multi-million-dollar smart houses that our souls reside in. Like, we have to take care. If we want, if somebody, for example, if somebody gives you the keys to a Maserati, you're not going to go put unleaded fuel in there. You're going to put like ultra premium. We are in our body Maserati. Like, we're in these multi-million-dollar Maserati, whatever, expensive vehicles that we live in.
Yes.
And we have to treat them right if we want to.
It's our temple. Our body's our temple.
Exactly. Absolutely. Exactly. Oh, I keep getting goosebumps because this is like, I'm vibing right now. This is beautiful.
Yes.
I want you to talk about also, what does a fasting lifestyle mean to you, and why would you recommend it to somebody that you just met, for example?
So to me, I could revert back to the help with the diabetes, but anybody who's a diabetic, I would suggest do this because it would lower your blood sugar. It would help with the insulin, and it would help with just overall well-being. I have a cousin who's just in the group now. She's on there. She's lost 10 pounds in like 2 weeks, and she just founded a group. And we talk about it, how it helps with a lot of issues with fasting, and help with acid reflux, with GERD, stomach issues. It'll really help with my microbiome, with my stomach, because I used to have gut issues. I had a lot of problems with gut issues, and now my gut is really, really good now. I used to have the diarrhea a lot. I used to get diarrhea a lot, but yeah.
Have you heard of the book, on a side note, have you heard of the book, The Longevity Paradox?
Yes, I have. I've heard of it. I've heard of it.
Highly recommend that. If you're a fan of, I love recommendations of things, of resources that I've utilized. I want to say it's by Dr. Gundry, The Longevity Paradox. Highly recommend listening to it on Audible. The way that he explains and kind of ties everything in, integrating, plant-based, heavily plant-based, and how that kind of ties into why fasting works and why is that so powerful, because of the overall health, the significance of our gut microbiome and how that impacts everything. It impacts so much more than we realize. And, when people say, oh, I'm taking probiotics or I'm taking this for gut, like, do you really know and understand like the full, like, it goes a little bit sciencey, but he does tie it and have a lot of like really great explanations for understanding, for the importance of gut health and why we need to be taking care of this, and like tips and things. But yeah, highly recommend that book.
Yeah, because I read that 80% of your disease comes from your gut.
Yes.
Your gut, everything leads from the gut. It can trigger other issues. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. The triggering of hormones and just like everything, absolutely everything. So before we wrap it up, I want to give you an opportunity to share anything that we didn't cover, and really just convey what fasting has done for your life, your transformation, how the ripples have affected additional people's lives. I know you said other people that you have family ties to that have also been affected and have made changes, but go ahead and share if there's anything else that we've missed.
Oh, yes. So overall, fasting, including diet, exercise, fasting, all of those come together, less stress, is just, my life is just so different. I feel so energized and everything. And it's like fasting has helped because it's just, like I said, got rid of the diabetes, and now my kidneys. I did a colonoscopy, endoscopy, everything was clean. And I relate that to fasting and everything. Blood results are better. When I was in the hospital, they were really, within a couple of years, I could have been on dialysis. They were telling me all of that. Liver was bad because of the fasting and because of a changed diet, exercise, they're working out. Everything's returning back to normal. And it's just a blessing. I feel so, I just want to just tell the world about fasting, but people are not ready for it. They're just not ready for it. I've got to the point where I can't share it no more. I really can't. I want to, but I get this negative, oh, how come you didn't eat? That's not good. Your blood sugar get too low. I'm not going to understand it can happen, but I monitor that throughout the day. I'm monitoring. If it get too low, it has happened. It's got too low. I just ate something. It's okay. But it's not like it's every day. I've kind of got that managed, but yeah, it's really hard to explain people about fasting because they're not ready for it, because they listen to these doctors They're going to put them on pills. It's just big pharma. They're just trying to make money. People don't know that. All they do is making people sicker.
Yes.
People have to research. That's what I've learned. You have to research and be proactive, not reactive.
Exactly. And I think you are a testament to really investing in understanding and knowing what's going on with your own health and really taking a lot of responsibility for that, and knowing, not to say you have to understand every single thing, but knowing enough that it fuels you to keep going on your journey. And a lot of, again, conventional diet culture has us thinking about ourselves as reaching for external fixes instead of seeking the healing from inside.
Inside out, yes.
Giving ourselves back the power to remind ourselves that we can. And the ripples of change, as you said, that generally, like, from when I started my journey back in 2018 to now, there has been a lot more recognition, appreciation of integrating intermittent fasting into the lifestyle. The studies keep coming out, more and more studies keep coming out, which is fantastic. But it's still being met, as you said, and you, I'm sure, experience the same as me, with that stigma of, oh, you're not eating, that's not healthy, or oh, you're starving yourself, you're starving yourself. So like, I think if you think about it in this metaphorical kind of way, that it does relate to the way the fasting journey is in and of itself, that it's goosebumps again. It is a slow process, and it should be a slow process, because if one day everybody wakes up and you just see like fasting is it, like, it's not going to be something that catches on as permanently as if it were to go that slow, gradual, spreading like wildfire, like a slower wildfire sort of thing.
Right.
Because those are the ripples.
Another thing I want to add is, when I was losing the weight, people were telling me you're losing weight too fast.
Yes.
So that got to me. I'm thinking, do I got cancer? I used to think that, because cancer, I'm like, do I got, well, what? You think I'm to myself, do I got cancer? Am I sick? Why am I losing weight? And I'm like, hold it.
Yeah.
And after a while, I'm like, no, this is intentional. What I'm doing is intentional. I'm doing the right steps. You have no choice but to lose weight if you fast, eat right, and work out. The weight's got to come off. So and I'm like, okay, you know what? Then it had me going like, okay, you know what? Maybe I am losing too fast. Maybe I need to slow down. Like, no, I know what I have to do. And when I got to about 250, a couple of people said, no, you okay where you at. You need to stay. Like, no, you just don't understand. Not at my weight. You see this big change, because people haven't seen me in a while. They used to be big, like, God, you're losing weight so fast. And that used to deter me. No more. This is like my journey. I'm okay. I've done blood work. I don't have no cancer. I'm okay. So,
it's crazy how the assumptions and understandings that people have when other people in like their network or community of friends and family, when their lifestyles start to change, it's almost like, and I'm sure you may have experienced this as well, that friends and people that you've spent time and hung around with in your network have maybe dissipated or like removed themselves. I know I've experienced it over time as well, with the not understanding, or like, because their behavior sometimes can correlate with those previous bad habits that you look to broke away from, or choosing, like you said, choosing to abstain from consuming not just the food, but like friendships and the content and things that you surround yourself in, and bringing attention to that, and how much that fasting applies to that too, of just like, okay, is this going to be good for me? Is this a good, network to surround myself in? And realizing that the people that, ultimately we like to assume that they want the best for us. It's almost like if you're succeeding in changing your health and they're not, or they're like spinning their wheels, it's almost like they don't want to suffer alone. Misery loves company.
Exactly. And then another thing I want to add, I know a lot of things are coming to me right now.
Go for it.
People treat you so different.
Yes.
When you're losing weight, especially like females. Like now, it's different. I wasn't getting this much like flirting, or people like, you're handsome. When you're 500 pounds, they treat you different. And then it's weird how people are so about the physical and not how a person look.
Yep.
Now it's I've had a couple ex-girlfriends like try to call me like, oh, Rob, you this and that. Like you wasn't with me back then. So
Yeah.
they're people are superficial and
Yes.
and it's like people just treat you different because you're smaller now.
Yep.
The whole everybody, you get more respect.
Yep.
And it shouldn't be like that, but it's been happening to
I
me.
absolutely understand what you're talking about, and seeing the change and evolution happen mentally. And um, one of the things that I held on to for so long, because I've struggled with being overweight and obese for pretty much my entire life, ever since I was a kid, like very, very, very small, with emotional eating, hiding the food the same way that you were mentioned. And
Mhm.
some of the biggest being picked on and ridiculed and feeling just ostracized from my social group was throughout grade school and high school specifically. And I love being connected to the specific and people that I've chosen to be connected to now.
Mhm.
But back to when we were all like high school age kids, oh my gosh, the way that you treated then, and to be knowing and understanding and hearing the dialogue and conversations that I'm having now, I'm still the same person. Just like you said, I'm still the
Exactly.
same person,
Same
but
person.
it's just because I look different and
Treat you
because I've
different.
made the choice to change that
Mhm.
I'm getting different treatment now. And sorry, but I swear a little bit, but that fucking sucks. Like that
Yes, it
sucks
does. It
big
does.
time. Oh, it's like, why? Why?
Why? Right.
Yep.
It's just it just I don't let it bother me, but sometimes I'm like, well, okay, I'm the same loving guy, funny, like to
Mhm.
joke around. My physical changed, so why shouldn't you treat me the same? Like
Yep.
now you want to treat me different.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Was there anything else you wanted to add in before we wrap it up?
No, that's it. I appreciate this. I appreciate. I want to, share my story, do more of these kind of things, share my story, and
Absolutely. You're such a rock star in that group. And I knew when I first started seeing the sharing of your photos, I thought in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to get in touch with him. And
Mhm.
I don't know how many people you've been in touch with and been like, oh my gosh, we need to spotlight you. We need to talk about your story, because that's phenomenal from multiple points. And especially from like, typically, I'm sure like a lot of weight loss before and afters and stories and things are a lot more like, a lot of my audience is women, but there's a significant percentage of men as well. But I
Mhm.
think there's a lot more relatability when we have a massive success story like yourself to come on to provide your testimony, that it just speaks volumes. It's so powerful, and we need more of this from like male, female, like everybody, from every
Yes,
kind of experience, from everywhere as possible. And it's
yes, ma'am.
beautiful.
Yeah,
These are the beautiful ripples that are happening, the change. I
yes,
love being an advocate for the change that I wish to see in the world. So thank you so much. I'm a
yes.
grew up as a hugger. I'm giving you a virtual hug, like
Thank you. Me too.
so proud. I'm sure you're feeling the same way. Stay in touch, please. We'll definitely keep communicating. I want to keep cheering you on.
Thank you.
If
Appreciate it.
anybody wants to follow you and your story, do you want to share what your social channels are?
Yes, it's at okay. So Instagram is at 200. You know what? Let me look at
Yeah.
that real quick. We can find
What I
that
can
real
do
quick.
What I can do is I can link your socials in the show notes of the podcast. So
Okay,
people that
yeah, I
want
can
to
send it
follow
to you.
you, people
Okay,
that
I
want to
can send you
follow,
that.
go ahead and check out the show notes for his social channels to check out his journey as well. Um,
Okay.
and I'm sure he'd love to continue to build his supportive community as well of like-minded individuals and stuff. So thank you again so
Thank you.
much for this
Appreciate it.
opportunity to connect with you, share your story, and really provide the spotlight. Absolutely. I keep getting goosebumps because this has been so good and so like
Right.
meaningful.
Yes.
Thank you all so much. If you are in need of supportive coaching consulting on your journey, please reach out. I care. TheFastingFocusLifestyle.com. You can find my calendar, links to podcasts, and additional resources and information that are coming. And as always, like I always say, I truly believe in you, even if you don't. So I'll see you next time. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
The Fasting Focused Lifestyle Podcast. Copyright 2023. The information given within this podcast is not intended or implied to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Please consult your doctor before starting any weight loss method. Thank you.